Hi, guys. How are you? 'Tis the season where my hair is going to be even more crazy because hats. Yeah, it's. I don't know if you guys would be able to see it right now. It's not coming down. You might. I don't know. I'll turn you. I will turn you, and we will see if you can see what I can see. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Let's see if that adjusts a little bit. Nope, not really. Then it lit up, of course. Oh, well. Oh, that's okay. It is snowing. Big, giant, fluffy, but very sparse flakes right now. And I am eating chicken soup. Because all of my all of my children are sick. All of them are sick. So when one person gets sick, everybody gets chicken soup. It is like really, truly. Oh, now it picks up. Maybe I'll try to show you again in a little bit if it gets harder. It's like beautiful. Hello, Uncle Big Guy. Hello, Mr. Tito. I just got home from the store and I made a special stop. We have a lady that we get eggs from, and she's about halfway, because the big store that I go to when I go to Appleton, it's about an hour away. Hello, Artemis. It's about an hour away, so I always stop and get eggs from this one lady, and they were quite a bit more expensive than the ones from Walmart. Not anymore. Because my chickens are still not laying eggs. Or if they are, they're laying them somewhere that I have no idea where they are. And that could be potentially what the problem is. Because there's not a single egg in my coop, and there hasn't been for almost 2 months. Very frustrating. Hello, Dawn. Yes, everybody, tell me where you're watching from and tell me what your weather is doing. I'm curious because right now it is snowing. It is the middle of November. It does not snow in the middle of November in Wisconsin. Hardly ever. So this is definitely going to be an interesting year. Ryan Hall, his YouTube channel is Ryan Hall, y'all, and there's also a Ryan Hall Extra, XTRA. He has predicted that it is going to be a very memorable winter this year. I think he was right. Oh, my light isn't on. Let me turn this on. Maybe it's not plugged in. I must not have plugged it in. That's unfortunate. I'll do it in a minute. John says we have some snow on the ground, and they then sent the snow your way. Going to be a high of 20 tomorrow. Yes. Oh, the temperatures have been so chilly. My goodness. It's going to be. I'm gonna look. Okay, that is so weird. Use iPhone as a webcam. I've never done that before, and it keeps asking me to do it. And I'm like, I don't know that I'm ready to do that yet. Put your iPhone in a horizontal and stable position in the stand to connect to its supported apps. In Control Center, you can turn on features like center stage, portrait mode, and studio light. Desk view, get a top-down camera view without the extra equipment. Remind me later. I think I need to try that later. That's what I should play with later. That's what I should do. I wonder, camera on chickens. Dude, I need to have a camera on my chickens all the time. Yeah, there's a few chickens walking around outside right now. But yes, because my chickens are free range, they go all over the place. Like they are free to be all over my property. And it is, we have 26 acres. So they could go who knows where and lay. We did in the springtime, or no, it was in the summertime. We did go on an egg hunt to see if we could find where they were laying. But that's my guess, is that they're probably laying somewhere that they shouldn't be. That's my guess. Let me see. You inspired me to make my own flicker light with the orange flicker bulb. I need to plug it in. Poor thing. It's so cute. Although it's not bright enough. I wanted it to be just bright enough that you guys could see what the picture looks like on that Scentsy, because it's gorgeous. But yeah, so I'll have to experiment with some more bulbs. Artemis says, I had my 13 millimeter kidney stone broken. Here's hoping, now that I'm not eating plants, that they stop forming. I started keto in 2019 with a 4 millimeter stone already in me. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's no fun at all. My husband has had more than enough kidney stones, although they did stop completely when he started doing lemon water every single day. That did help quite a bit. Hello, Barb. I'm eating chicken soup. Because my kids are all sick. So I am going to do the chicken soup and get the good nutrients. I do put carrots and celery in it now. It's the exact same soup. That was my second video. I think it was my second video on YouTube. If you go all the way back to number 2, it's called Bella's Chicken Soup for the Soul. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking that some of these recipes I should just like repeat and do them again, because I don't think everyone, has ever gone back and watched all my videos. And I love the soup, and I have changed it a little bit. And now I'm adding a little bit of carrots, 1 stalk of celery, that's it. But then a lot of carrots though. Hi, Sherry. I haven't seen you in forever. Oh my goodness. It's been a long time. I need more salt. So I went to the store today, an hour away, partially because gas was really, really cheap in Appleton. So I went ahead and I drove that far because it was 43 cents a gallon cheaper than where I live. So I went ahead and I drove over there. I got some frozen berries for my kombucha. My kombucha is actually almost ready. Hi, Susanna. Oh, Susanna and Sherry, you're both in California. My kombucha is almost ready, so I'm going to start flavoring it with berries, but I had to go get some berries. I could break into my freeze-dried berries, but I'm going to just keep I'm going to keep going to the store while I can, for however long I can afford to. Although, if eggs keep going the way that eggs are going, no one's going to be able to afford to go to the store anymore. Hi, Charlotte. Unfortunately, it's bad. Like, it's really bad. The big box of the 5 dozen eggs at Walmart used to be, I remember when we first moved here, I remember going to the very first Walmart in Wisconsin in Appleton. It was $3.48 for the big giant box of eggs, the 5 dozen eggs. Today it was almost $16. That is insane. That's in 2 years. In 2 years, that's what it's gone to. When we pulled into town, the day we pulled into town, gas was $1.27. Today, I was ecstatic to get it at $3.19 in 2 years. It has been almost exactly 2 years because we rolled into town September 27th of 2020. That's where we are 2 years later. It's so crazy that things have changed so much in that amount of time. Oh, hello. I have very slowly been trying to switch things over to more sustainable, more better quality items, things like eggs. And we were getting ready to switch everybody over to the good eggs because my chickens very unreliable, and then the other ones are too little. They're just not laying yet. So we actually have a bunch of chickens that are out free range, but now I've got 17 that are back in behind the deer pen. They're in the fencing in a whole different area. Oh, Sherry, you're so sweet. Yes, I can tell you how to make kombucha. Absolutely. We've got our new chicks back in a pen in with the emus and the geese and the ducks and all of that. I'm hoping to keep them a little bit safer because these chickens out here, they're free range. So they go down right by the creek, just like the bobcats and the coyotes and everything else. So they go for dinner and a drink. It's very rude. Karen said, wow, I wonder what those eggs will be here if they come back in stock. They were 9 something the other day. Ironically, I was at the store getting eggs and I have very little signal in Walmart. And so I got a notification that I had a Marco Polo from a friend and from my crazy German friend. And she was like, I have to complain for a minute. I have to complain. And I'm like, what is this? And then of course the message cuts off because I have no signal. So it took almost 45 minutes for it to load. She was complaining about eggs. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, the eggs. It's crazy. And so she made the comment that she's like, I might have to get some chickens. I highly recommend a lot of people go get some chickens. I really do. Because if you can't afford to feed the chickens, if the chicken food, now don't get me wrong, chicken food has gone up. It is more expensive. It's about 35% more than it was last year. But if you can't afford to feed them, you can kill them and you can eat them. If you can afford to feed them, then they will give you eggs. So if you have the ability to get some chickens, I would consider getting some chickens at this point in time. It is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, 5 dozen eggs at Costco is $16, so the same as at my Walmart. So I got 5 dozen pasture-raised eggs from the local lady on the way. She's halfway between us and Appleton for $20. So I got the pasture-raised, really good chickens, eggs for $20, or for $16, I got the crappy Walmart eggs that are being fed. The chickens are being fed their own feathers back. I don't know if you guys know that, but they actually grind up the feathers from the previous flocks and they add it to the food because it's good protein and calcium. So they give them those, but it doesn't have a whole lot of nutrients in it. It's kind of a filler. So yeah, that's where Tina still ticked how much I paid. I know. And the problem for me was that my lady that I go through, she only takes cash. And I only had $20 in cash, so I could only get 5 dozen from her. But I think next time what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull out money from the store and then go get more eggs from her. And I made mention, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I was driving by the other day and I almost stopped by, but it was like 8:30 at night." And she goes, "I was still awake." I was like, "Ah, now I know. I'll come in next time." Yeah, hi, Blaze. You're okay. Yes. Sylvia asked, "Could chickens eat table food too while free ranging?" Yes, they can. And I will talk about that as soon as I finish talking about kombucha. So Sherry wants to know how to make kombucha. Just got a kit. I don't want to mess it up. Thank you. It depends on what you're brewing it in. What I prefer to do, what I have found is the absolute easiest way for my family to do kombucha is called a continuous brew. So first, let's establish what kombucha is for anyone who doesn't know. It is a fermented sweet tea that has, I think it's like 50 billion strains of probiotics in it or something like it. I don't remember. It's a lot. So it's fermented sweet tea, and it's usually pretty acidic. It's like a 2.5 to a 3.5 on the pH scale. So it's pretty acidic. It can help to reacidify your stomach. It can help with digestion. It can help with all kinds of things. It's a really good natural probiotic. And the way that you make it is you take sweet tea with real sugar. You cannot use keto sweeteners, and you cannot use honey either. You cannot use those. You can use organic, you can use kind of a darker, like that evaporated cane juice is really good. I think you can use like coconut sugar. I think that's okay. But really, truly, it has to be real sugar. You cannot use any other substitutes for that. And the reason for that is because it's the bacteria that eat the sugar. The bacteria don't eat the sugar alcohols. They do not eat honey the same way that they can eat the sugar. So it has to be real sugar. Generally, I do 6 or 7 tea bags to 1 cup of sugar, or a little bit more than a cup of sugar, to a gallon of filtered water. You do not ever want to use tap water, whether it is from a well, there's other bacteria in your well water and they will compete with your kombucha. Or if it's from the city, then you certainly don't ever want to use that because that's got chlorine in it and it'll kill the bacteria that's in your kombucha. So you're going to take this tea and you're going to pour it into a container. Mine is a big, gorgeous, hand-thrown vessel that holds 2 gallons. And you pour it in the top, and then it's got a little spigot on the side so you can pull off as much as you want. And then the magic ingredient is called a scoby. And that is an acronym, and it means a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. And what's interesting about the scoby is a lot of people think that the scoby is actually living, but it's just kind of the apartment building for the bacteria that are living in it. And as you're making your kombucha, you'll see the little scoby. You can start with one that's about this big. My vessel is much, much bigger than that. So I got 2 scobies and I dropped them down in there. And now if I were to pull up my whole scoby, you can see the 2 original ones are kind of underneath, stuck together. And then there's a big giant, it almost looks like a jellyfish on top of it. And that's the baby. The mother, the baby. The baby is the newest formation, which is usually right on the top, and the mother gets pushed down, 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 down. And this is where the bacteria are living as they are eating all of the sugar and the tea that you have put in there to create your kombucha. It can take anywhere from 10 days to generally like 3 weeks to get about a gallon of kombucha up and going and running. My problem, 100% my problem with my kombucha, which is still not fully done, I forgot about the water aspect of it. I did not use distilled or bottled water. I used tap water. So the bacteria that were in my well water were competing with my kombucha. It's taken my kombucha forever. It's been almost 2 months. And it's still not quite to where it should be yet. It's super close, but it's still not there yet. So the water is a really big part of it. super important. You don't ever want to use soap either when you're cleaning any of your implements. You can use hot water, and then vinegar. White vinegar is a really good way to clean everything, to kill all the bacteria without introducing or having any residue of bleach or soap on your container, whatever you're doing it in. So there's one brew at a time. Do continuous. So then you're going to pour all of your tea into whatever your vessel is that's been cleaned with white vinegar. Your hands are clean. You're not going to touch anything. You're going to make sure that it all stays good and sanitary for the bacteria. You want only a certain kind of bacteria. Of course I'm buffering, because why wouldn't I be? So you're going to then put your scobies into this tea. And they're going to eat. The bacteria in there is going to eat, and it's going to ferment your drink. It usually takes like 10 days to up to 3 weeks if you don't use it from your well, which takes longer. So that is the basics of how you start your kombucha. There's actually a lot more to it than that. Things like temperature. You want to pay attention to the temperature in your house. The bacteria will go dormant if it gets too cold, and they will not function well, or they begin to die off if it gets too hot. They thrive between 75 and 85 degrees. So here in Wisconsin, I have a heating element that goes around my big giant container, and it has a temperature probe attached to it, and I can set it to what you want it to be. Hopefully Barb did it. Am I still buffering really bad? Hopefully I'm okay. Completely broke up and can't understand what you're saying, of course. Hang on. I'll be right back. I'm going to go. If anyone else can hear me, tell me if you can hear me. Okay. If you can hear me. Otherwise, I'll go tell my kids. Dropping frames. Okay. The kids are watching a disc. They're not even like on. Okay, so Charlotte says it's good. Maybe the replay will be better. Okay, Amelia and Charlotte said I'm good. I'm just going to keep going then. You can hear me now. My kids are watching a DVD. Like, guys, this is so bad. Oh, and I called the internet. Yeah, I'm not getting fiber until next spring. So unfortunately, this is as good as it's going to get for a while. But anyways, the temperature is super important when you're doing your kombucha. And there's lots of different options you can do for flavoring. You want to do the main part of your kombucha with nothing else in it. And then after your first fermentation, you can flavor it with berries. You can add herbs. You can do all kinds of different things. Where I got my setup from is called Kombucha Camp, with a K for both of them. Kombucha and camp will start with a K. So it's kombuchacamp.com, I believe. That's where I got my whole setup. But I got my setup like 4 years ago. It's been a while since I got all of that. But gorgeous vessels. I got my scobies from her. I got my heating element and the little lid that goes over the top. It's not really a lid. It's like a little stretchy t-shirt that goes over the top of your container. Because if fruit flies get into it, and they will absolutely be attracted to it, if your fruit flies or anything gets into this container, they will begin to destroy it and you will lose everything. You'll have to throw out the SCOBY. So making sure that it's sealed from the outside interference, but able to breathe. You cannot put it into a sealed container. You can actually make something explode if you put a lid on the top of it and seal it. So kombucha is really, truly a fantastic science experiment. And it's really fun chemistry. I suggest you watch a lot of videos online and figure out what you're more comfortable with, if it's a continuous brew or if it's just a one-off that you'll have to get on a rotational basis, so that when it's done, you have some other ones that are still coming up behind it that you're working on, so that if you are drinking it every day, then you won't have to, drink it for like a week until you run out and then you have to start a whole new one. You kind of want to stay on top of it. But I don't know. And people are like dropping off on the live. So I have no idea if it's YouTube or if it's my signal is still really bad. It could be both. I'm going to try to text Blaze. We'll see how bad it is. If my signal can even get through to Blaze. I had to go completely out of YouTube and restart it, and now it's better. Chrissy's fine. Okay, cool. Oh, no. Hey, and I actually texted Blaze, like never, because when I have an iPhone, and if someone doesn't have an iPhone, it won't always send. So the fact that it went through, it actually worked. Okay, Uncle Big Guy said I had to close and open again. I'm fine. Oh, good. Blaze is my tech support. No, don't delete. No, don't delete. Don't delete Blaze. Don't delete Blaze. Blaze is so wonderful. Don't delete Blaze. Okay, good. Yeah, so if you're having problems, close your app, close out YouTube, and then come back. Granted, if you're having problems, you probably can't even hear me say that. So helpful. So that is how the basics, like the super basics of kombucha. And a lot of people, it's hard if you're tracking carbs. It's really, really tough to know how many carbs are actually in your kombucha. If you test the pH, the more acidic it is, the less sugar there's going to be in it. So if you want to make sure that you have less carbs in your kombucha, you would want it to get to a pH of like 2 or 2.5. That would help reduce the amount of sugar that's in there. If you're flavoring it with berries and things like that, again, it's going to have some sugar in it. But many people have found that in their own health journey, just adding kombucha alone without changing anything else has altered their health in really amazing ways. And a lot of these people didn't have to go low carb to be able to lose weight, get rid of their headaches, fix their digestion, all kinds of things like that. So I think for some people, it can be a really good tool. For other people, it's the magic ticket to everything that they need. Blaze said I had to hit the live. You can also hit refresh. Chrissy says, I've watched many videos and read many articles, and I'm not sure on it having a dark orange egg yolk is better or not. If it really means a higher quality egg. Good question. So back to Sylvia's comment about can you feed table scraps to free-range chickens? 100% yes. We give our chickens everything. Nothing that is food goes into the trash can in my house. Not a thing. If the kids don't eat something and there's like a little bit left on the plate, we'll usually let the dogs lick off the plates just because I have a septic tank and no garbage disposal. So that stuff can't go down in there, and we eat a lot of grease in this house. So I'll let the dogs clean it off before it goes into the dishwasher. But there are some things that I don't really want to give the dogs, so I will give it to the chickens. Whenever we're washing plates and I have a catch in the bottom of my sink, it'll have rice, it'll have little burnt bits, it'll have, if you scrape out a pan and it had like egg dried onto it, we'll scrape that out of there. All of that will go into a bowl, and that goes to the chickens. Anytime that there's leftover. So I made some cauliflower puree a couple of weeks ago, and we forgot about it. And I just found it in the back of the fridge, and I opened it and I was like, that's definitely got some fermented smell to it, and I'm not going to eat it. And I'm sure as heck not going to give my dogs a bowl of cauliflower puree that's as big as my head. So I set it outside for the chickens. I topped it with a banana that someone had opened, taken 2 bites of, and then not finished eating. So the banana went into that. There was a few pieces of cucumber and carrot and who knows what else it was. So everything, absolutely everything goes to my chickens. In regards to the egg color, the yolk color, meaning a healthier egg, I've heard not to give them potato peels. I've heard not to give any animal potato peels. So I have to research that some more because I was like, if a chicken finds a potato, it's gonna eat the potato. But I don't know if they can have the potato peel. So am I wrong, Julia? Can they eat potato peels? Because I had heard that they couldn't. And I didn't want to like hurt my chickens any more than they already are because either they're laying somewhere else or they're just not laying at all. Anyways, so last year I was cooking for the hunting ranch, the hunting lodge that's just down the road. It's been sold. They have another one that's like way up north and 3 hours, and I'm not doing that. So not a big deal. But we were processing for them last year as well. And we processed over 30 deer, 4 bull elk, and a buffalo. Lots of processing, lots of fun. A lot of people who come and hunt at this deer ranch, they don't take their meat with them. It's kind of a luxury thing. And they just come for the capes and the racks. So a lot of them don't take their meat with them. And tons and tons and tons of venison got donated to us. I'm the processor. I didn't want to deal with front quarters because they're a pain in the butt. So we would take the entire front quarter, the whole front shoulder, and chuck it out in the front yard for the dogs. And the dogs would spend hours on it, even if it's snowing. I'm like, okay, I put it underneath like the little awning right outside my front door. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put it right here and you guys can sit outside because I'm not bringing a deer leg into my house. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna sit outside, you're gonna eat this. The dang dogs would take their legs out into the snow in the middle of the yard and sit in the middle of a blizzard and eat. I was like, whatever. I give up. I give up. So I went ahead and left the legs out there. So it's like, it's cold, it's below freezing. It's fine. As soon as the dogs would come in, the chickens would go and they would attack the leg. They were eating so much meat and they would pick those bones completely clean. So what they ended up doing was every single chicken that was laying had these gorgeous, bright orangish red yolks. They were not eating hardly any of their grain, their chicken food that we were giving them. And it was in the middle of the winter, so there's no plants, no nothing else. They were mostly eating the venison. And they had the most gorgeous colored yolks. So I think that there is definitely something to what the chickens are eating. It is reflected in their yolks. And that's why the Walmart yolks are so pathetic and so light yellow, because there's not a whole lot of nutrition in them. So that is my theory. Not a clue if it's accurate or not, but yeah. Blaze, someone is supposed to come. Long story. I'll tell you in the meeting later. Someone's supposed to come tonight at like 5 to get the dog. So we will see. I'm actually messaging right now. We shall see. We shall see. It's crazy. Solanine can develop in potato peels and it's poisonous. That's what I thought. I was like, I've heard. It's crazy. We've been peeling so many potatoes. We've been working on lots of potatoes because my husband's getting them for free. I'm not about to turn them down. So we have tons of potatoes and we're peeling the potatoes and I'm putting the potato peels into the trash because I'd heard do not give them to any animals. Oh my gosh. The trash can smells like straight rubbing alcohol. It's so potent. Is there a liquor that's made with potatoes? I need to learn how to make my own liquor. I don't drink, but I definitely want to use it for tinctures and things like that. So I want to learn how to make my own vodka. That's what I thought. I said that to my husband. I was like, yeah, I think it's vodka. And he was like, vodka? And I don't think so. Which is funny because moonshine, right? Neither one of us drink. We never have. We never will. Um, but I will use it medicinally for tinctures, for cleaning, things like that. So my plan is to learn how to make liquor. And I do have a distillery. I did buy a distillery. I could probably just buy liquor now, but I can either spend $20 on eggs or $20 on liquor right now. Granted, the $20 on liquor would probably last me a lot longer because I'm not going to use it for anything but medicine. We've just never, ever, ever drank ever. So yeah, it'd be very interesting. Okay, no, I'm not going to feed it. No, I'm not going to feed my potato peels. I will give the potato peels to my, what are they called? Black soldier flies. I'm going to get a black soldier fly farm going. And those are also going to go to my chickens. And the potato peels can go to those. I bet you that would be fine because they eat everything. Oh, it's so bad. It's so nasty. My first boyfriend's family had chickens and they gave all the kitchen stuff, no problems. I wonder if it was just like a little bit of potato peels would be fine. Just a little bit. But I have like a lot of potato peels. I do not know. Let me see. Turning on my heating pack because my lap is really cold. Where am I? Have I made water kefir? I've never tried water kefir. I've never tried that. I have tried milk kefir. I made that with the grains. That was fun. Honestly, I need to get back into all that. I really do. I need to like get all of it. Really, truly, I should. Is what I should do. Have you tried keeping your chickens in the coop for 48 hours? They would have to lay their eggs in the coop. That way you can tell if they are laying and will get used to laying their eggs in the coop. I have not. Actually, that makes too much sense. And now is probably the perfect time to do it. So I'd have to find a waterer. Oh no, I know where a waterer is. I have to look at the temperature. I might have to wait a little bit. Because as soon as I open up the door, I don't know if you guys saw my last video that I put out. Was it the last video? I think it was the last video. Like the doors open this much and the chickens are like busting out the door. So I would not be able to open the door for days, for 48 hours, because if I did, they would absolutely run out the door. So I would have to make sure that they had enough water and food to last them. I don't think I might be able to run an extension cord and use the heated water in there. And that should be big enough to last them for 2 days in there with their water and then their food. I have no problem filling that up. That is a brilliant idea though. New Mexico nurse. I like it. That's what I'm going to do. That way I will know what's going on. People ask me how my chickens know where to sleep because you lock them in there. Duh. Wow. I feel special. Thank you, darling. That is a brilliant idea. And I will do that so I can retrain my chickens in here, doofuses. Wow, free meat is awesome. But being a city girl all my life, I don't think I could process anything. It's funny. When we moved here and I knew I was going to start a farm because I am a city girl. I was born in a city of 50,000. Then I've lived in cities of upwards of 200,000 ever since until we moved here. But with the times going the way that the times are going, I have been paying attention, and with the way that my daddy raised me, I'm like, I need to pay attention. And I need to start becoming more self-sufficient and being able to take care of my family and not relying on others as much. So when we moved here and the owners were like, hey, you want to help work with this with the deer? You want to learn how to bottle feed them? Do you want to process them? We'll hire you on and you can process just for us. Do I want to? No. And I actually had the hardest time culling my roosters, harvesting my roosters. I was really rooster heavy. Out of 15 chickens, 6 of them were roosters. So all of my hens were being overbred. They ended up losing all of their feathers on their backs. They were bleeding in some places because the roosters were just overbreeding them in the springtime. And that was my fault because I just didn't want to have to kill my roosters. I kept trying to rehome them. I couldn't get anyone that wanted them because everybody was super rooster heavy at that point in time. And I couldn't find anyone to take them. And so my hens ended up paying for it because I wasn't able to do it. So I very quickly had to come to terms with the fact that this is where my food comes from. As a carnivore or even keto, if you eat animals, this is where your food comes from. And I can treat my animals better than any grocery store is going to treat them. Do I like taking their lives? No. But it's really no different than going to the grocery store and buying something else that did have a life. So I learned how to be able to do that. I still feel sad every time I do it, but I'm also grateful. Every time that I go to harvest an animal, process an animal, whether I'm the one that killed it or not, I say a prayer of gratitude for the animal's life. Because especially like these deer, y'all should see the giant pile of pumpkins that these deer are out here eating right now. The other day, they brought a truck in with a trailer, and I was like, what are they doing? Are they moving deer out? They were just simply bringing pumpkins in. So there's, golly, probably 50 pumpkins out there that they just put out there in a pile. And so these deer are out there just eating all of the pumpkins. They get brought over the winter. They will bring in giant bales of wet alfalfa and they will just sit there. They'll eat it all. They're so well taken care of. If they get sick, they get medicine. If something happens to them, they come live in my house when they're little enough. Like these animals are so spoiled. They're super spoiled. Very well taken care of. We go out there in the summertime if it's too hot and we'll hose all the deer down. We'll just stand there with hoses and just spray everybody down so that they're not too hot. And I had to come to terms with the fact that I'm going to be a part of their life and I may have to be a part of their death. So I discovered that I was able to do that. And city girl didn't ever want that, was not really hoping that I would be able to do that. It was nothing I was looking forward to. But and the deer that we grow here, yeah, they are for a hunting lodge. They're not ours. They are it's a deer ranch. It's a white-tailed deer farm. So these are raised for hunting. And yes, we eat deer. We kill the deer 100%. If they fall and break a leg, yeah, they get shot. Because if they were in the wild and they fell and broke a leg, it could take them days to weeks to die. And it'd be very slow and painful and horrid. So we absolutely do kill them and we eat them and I feed them to my animals, even my chickens. My chickens really like them too. So that is fantastically, in a nutshell, my journey from city girl to butcher. And now I'm really grateful that I have the knowledge because with meat prices going the way that meat prices are, when a friend calls and says, hey, we got to go butcher a cow. Do you want to help? I can go, yep, I can help. And then I can cut up my own cow, bring it home, process it in any way that I need to. I didn't have to pay anybody. It was completely free. So that is, it's been really, really cool. When I was in the city, I had no desire for that whatsoever. Joe of Too Crazy Keto said that they feed some chickens turmeric to make their yolks more orange. That is hilarious. Barb says only if the peels are exposed to the sun. They're safe only if exposed to the sun, or dangerous only if exposed to the sun. I don't like the taste or the burn of alcohol either. It can go wrong, and you can go blind if you do it wrong. Yep. That's why I need to start figuring out how to do moonshine now. When you can still get into a hospital. And no, I'm not going to drink it. Dangerous if exposed to sun. Thank you. So, okay. Yeah. They'd be out there in the sun. Although my chickens do eat stuff very, very quickly. So I'm just not gonna. But yeah, the distillery we actually got for water. So that we can make our own distilled water. Because supply chain shortages. What if I can't get distilled water for my kombucha? I can make my own. And then you can also distill alcohol. Resell kombucha? I'm not going to resell anything. I'm going to keep everything here. Yeah, because we have so many people that need stuff. Maybe chickens don't react to solanine like people do. I have no idea. Have you ever had bone pain while fasting? Feels like growing pains, no idea what that is. I do not do well with fasting. I really do not do well with fasting at all. First snow is going to hit tomorrow. Fine. It's gorgeous right now. It's so beautiful. The sun is setting and it's through the trees. They're, let's see, probably 40 feet tall. They're aspens. They're probably about 40 feet tall. And there's just this wall of them. And now you can see through it. It's absolutely gorgeous right now. I love where I live. Oh, buffering again. Of course I am. I bet you the kids paused the movie. I'm going to go check. Are you guys still watching the TV? It's messing up my internet. Can you guys just go get the... Hey guys, can you get the iPad and watch it downloaded on Voodoo? Just turn off the TV. It's been a little bit. Okay. I kicked everybody off.
They do this.
You squeezing his little belly.
It's a girl.
Her little belly.
I like it.
You love it.
And I can eat something.
What do you want to eat? You need more medicine. Why don't you bring me the medicine while you think about what you want to eat?
How much medicine does she need? I can get it for her probably.
It's like 2.5. You have to put it on the counter and pour it in really slowly. You can try. If you can't get it, then bring it back to me. I'm still alive.
I'm gonna get my own medicine. Sorry, Mom.
Oh no, I was hoping it would work with a disc, but it's not. It's not working. So you guys can go get the iPad and just watch something downloaded on Voodoo. Voodoo.
And then I'm gonna play a game on the iPad when they're done watching it.
Maybe. Everybody's sick. Everybody. Well, me and Richard are. Got your pocket. Your shirt is all dirty, little tiny. Okay. You go on out, and sister will get you medicine. You forgot to give me a hug, my little darling. I'm sorry.
Can I have peanut butter?
Sure.
Peanut butter.
That's fine.
Like the dark.
Yes, you may.
Medicine for her cold. Is this good enough?
Oh, looks perfect. You did great.
It's all out. This was the last of it.
Okay, I'll get a new bottle. Okay, let me see. I'm going back now. Going back. Let me see. Yes, your last video of chicken. My chicken stampede. Dude, that wasn't even sped up either. They run out that fast. Like they are like, freedom! And you're like, okay. So I've been hit before. I've opened the door and like stood in front of it and I've gotten a chicken in the face because they're like, my bad. It's hilarious. Chrissy processed her first pig when she was 9 years old. We're probably getting rabbits too. So we're planning on getting rabbits. Does anyone know about rabbits? It's like we know the cages that we're gonna build. They're gonna be on wire. The poop and the pee is gonna fall through. Da 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 da. The cages are not done yet, and the rabbits are already like ready to be picked up. So I'm gonna put them into a dog kennel for now with a solid bottom. I don't know how to do rabbits in a cage with a solid bottom. I can see if maybe I can get them to use a litter box. I can see. I've heard rabbits like prefer litter boxes, so maybe I'll just give them a litter box. Oh, there's a gorgeous red cardinal in the tree. It's so pretty. So, anyways, if you know about rabbits, you should tell me about rabbits. Because the mom is actually pregnant right now. So we're going to have baby bunnies. And we're going to eat the baby bunnies. And I will be the one killing the baby bunnies. Because meat. I haven't bought meat from the store in a while. Darling?
And Mommy?
Darling?
Does games take internet?
Yes. Okay. So just watch how downloaded, my darling. Let me see. Deer, rabbit, squirrel, goat. I've never had squirrel. I have had rabbit. I've had goat. Not a fan. I've not had squirrel though. I need to. Julia, you got a wildlife. My parents said the same thing. We're like, wow, we never saw you doing that stuff. Okay. As a kid, I lived next to a farm. As a city adult, I still dream of having an 11-acre farm. 1 acre, not 11, but still never processed any live animal. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like for Thanksgiving, we're probably having duck because I'm Drake heavy. I've got 3 drakes and 2 females. That's not going to work. So somebody's going to have to go bye-bye. So we're probably having duck for Thanksgiving. And then that way I don't have to go and buy a turkey. And there's no point in me continuing to feed the ducks when I can't keep them all. And if I give them away to someone else, then I've been feeding them and then it's really a waste. So I'm probably going to be eating. I think I might kill the mallard. I think, because I'm not killing the one that my doggy went out and got for himself as a pet. That one gets to stay. He is huge and gorgeous. So he will stay. Oh, my throat just squeaked. The dog's looking at me like, did you just do that? I wonder how cost effective it would be to have city chickens versus just paying more in the store. We had city chickens. We had no roosters. We had only hens. We did it in the middle of Fairfield, California. And I thought it was fantastic. We just got one of the big, like, plastic sheds. And we put some basically like scaffolding inside of it and then made laying boxes for them. And I mean, everything was made out of like cardboard and plastic. And they were just fine. They were fantastic. We locked them up every single night. They were free range during the day. Then we locked them in that little like Rubbermaid shed at night so that they were safe from any predators. And we were getting eggs all the time. So I thought it was fantastic. I think anybody that has the ability to do that, especially now, you really might want to consider it. We had 4 chickens for about it was like a year. And then we got some more and we were going to do 15 chickens. And then we decided to move. But we learned very quickly, you can't leave them out even in the city at night because the coons come and they find them. And then it's like raccoon buffet is what it is, unfortunately. My daughter went outside and found chicken feet and feathers, and it was a big, giant mess. Oh, she's closing the door for me. So I think it's absolutely going to be more cost effective for you to have your own chickens. Oh, raccoons, do they ever? Oh my gosh, raccoons are awful. So here, if they did it to my ducks too. They will go back into the area, into the deer pen, and they will reach in and they'll grab whatever it is, and then they'll try to pull it through the fence. If they can't pull it through the fence, they'll reach through until they get the head. They'll pull the head through the fence, and then they'll eat the head off. And then they will pull whatever they can through the fence to eat. So when you come in the morning, you find just like this body with the wings and the feet and the head that's been chewed off. It's fantastic. Yes, raccoons are horrid. They're just evil. That's just all there is to it. Like raccoons freak me out and they really tick me off. And then we've got foxes, minks, ermines, coyotes, bobcats, and a black bear that lives in the creek in the spring, but she doesn't eat my chickens. She could care less about my chickens. So yeah, raccoons are absolutely evil. So you really do need to lock them up at night. No, you don't need to go outside. You need to go lay down. Go. No. Let me see. My egg suppliers are all sold out. I have 4 different local farmers I hit up. Yes. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. It's just not going to get better. I'm watching everything that's going on in the world right now. It's not going to get better anytime soon. They're talking about this being a very long and dark winter. It's not going to be a good thing. So anything that you can do to become self-sufficient on any level is going to be ideal. That means if the next time you go to the grocery store, if you can pick up 2 cans of something, 1 to eat and 1 to put away, that would be a good idea because prices are just going up and up and up and up. Nothing is going to get better in the next 6 months to a year. It just isn't. Oh my gosh, you guys are driving me nuts. Okay, let me let these doggies out. There's big old doggy heads. Ouch! Tiny doggies! There we go. Back with my heating pad on my lap because it's really cold in this room. This room has no vent. So there's no heat. There's no AC in the summer and there's no heat in the winter. I can turn this guy on. It's just pretty right now. But oh yeah, Joey's video about eating only vegans. That was hilarious. By the way, Amelia, it's really funny. I thought that was great. But yeah, it's not going to get cheaper anytime in the near future. We're looking at shortages for diesel, which is going to affect all gas prices. Thank goodness we're okay for right now, but I don't know how long it's going to last. The railway still has the potential to strike. So that could disrupt our flow of goods. So Lori, at the beginning, I was talking about the fact that the day we pulled into Wisconsin, into our area, we went to the Walmart that I just went to. It's about an hour away from me. We went to that Walmart. The 5 dozen eggs, the box of 5 dozen eggs was $3.48. I can vividly remember it in my mind. Today I went over there and it was like $15.84, I think. And that was 2 years ago. We drove into town September 27th of 2020. So 2 years ago. It's been almost a 5 times increase. And I get eggs from a lady that's about 30 minutes away from me. And she charges $4 a dozen for pasture-raised eggs. Well, I spent $20 on 5 dozen from her and almost $16 on 5 dozen from Walmart. And let me tell you, you can see the difference. You can absolutely see the difference. If you look at the Walmart egg and then the pasture-raised egg, the yolk is different, the white, the consistency, like everything is different. And they're almost the same price now. So now I got to say, if you have the ability to get something like your own chickens, if you have that ability, you might want to consider doing it. If you don't, and for some people, I just saw Chrissy said I live in an HOA. For some people, you might want to find a friend who doesn't live in an HOA and then say, hey, could we go half and half? Like, I'll pay for half of the chicken food. I'll buy half of the chickens. I'll pay for half of the materials. Da da da. Can you just like keep them on your property? Can I come over and get some eggs? That is another option that that could work if you have family or friends. Honestly, I'm thinking that would be something that'd be really cool for like churches to do. Be like, here, let's get like this whole thing going on and let the kids program deal with the chickens and gardens, like community gardens and things like that. I think those are going to start coming back. We're absolutely going to have to start doing that kind of stuff again. Feel better, Bella. I know. She's so miserable. It's so sad. My poor baby. Let me see. What did I miss? Egg suppliers are all sold out. My dad was a butcher and owned his own business. I never helped with anything except making hamburger and wrapping the meat. Oh, Cassidy was so funny. We were butchering that cow, and she was just like, "Can I come help? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I touch it?" I actually cut up the heart last night. The heart was massive. The heart was over 9 pounds. The heart of this cow was over 9 pounds. It's so big. It was so cool. But my animals love the heart. And I was cutting through and I was showing the kids like, here's the heartstring, and oh, look at the coagulated blood, and it looks like jello. And the kids are just like, oh, that is so cool. It was hilarious. Dropping frames again. Hopefully it's better. Sylvia, my father was a butcher as well for over 45 years. So I had my last meal Sunday, did 2 days of dry fasting and switched to water fasting. Going to break it tomorrow with eggs. Eggs are the best way to break a fast. I agree. Do folks use rolling hutches for rabbits like they do for chickens? Yes, a lot of people do. They really like the rolling hutches, but because mine are going to be meat rabbits and because where we live, we decided to not do the colony style for the rabbits. We're just going to do cages. Moms and dad, they're probably going to live their whole life in cages because coccidiosis has been horrible here, like beyond horrible. And these animals are going to be our livestock, our lifeline, honestly. So they will get all kinds of scraps and they will get treats and things in the cages, but I don't know that they're ever going to touch the ground because here there's so much stuff on the ground. The deer, there's mycoplasma in the pens, and it's absolutely everywhere. And that's actually one of the reasons that we could be having such a hard time with our chickens is because coccidiosis this year has been absolutely terrible this year. So no, the guy is not coming today for libel. It's gonna be tomorrow morning, maybe. Oh my gosh. So funny. But yeah, so the rabbits are probably going to be up in cages the whole time. Like we'll take them out in their area and let them play around a little bit, but they're never going to be outside and free on the ground because there's just too many things that have been on this property that could make them sick. And once they get sick, they're a pain in the butt to have to try to get better. Yeah, so I think we're probably just gonna have them in cages. I felt bad about it for a minute, but I was like, most of them are going to be dead within 14 weeks anyways. So because we're only gonna like grow them out until between 12 and 14 weeks, and then I'm going to harvest them all. And then they're all going to end up in the freezer. Use hay and yes, rabbits can be litter box trained. Yeah. So we do have a bunch of straw. We have a bunch of straw. We have alfalfa. We got big giant bales of this stuff. And no, what we're going to be getting probably in a couple of days is a buck and a doe, but the doe is pregnant from a different buck, not the one that we're getting, so that we could keep some of the babies from the doe and we could then breed with the buck, because I want three does and one buck is what I want to have my meat processing operation. So that's my current plan. We're going to see what happens. My niece's pet rabbits are litter trained, by the previous owner, but they poop and pee in their food. We were going to have their food up on the side in containers on the wire so that they can't get into them. So that whatever is there, they will be able to, the litter box, they'll be able to poop and pee in until we get them on the wire. Then they'll just go wherever, and then we'll have something underneath. The buckets will be underneath to catch. We're going to have a screen to catch the poop, because rabbit manure is like the #1 fertilizer on the planet. So we'll have a screen that catches it and shuttles the poop down here, but then the pee can fall through the screen, and then we'll catch that in buckets so that we can dump it and get rid of it. Because then when I'm growing my garden next year, I will be able to, they said that rabbit manure is phenomenal. What you can do, a lot of people recommend that you plant the seed with like 3 little pellets of rabbit poop, and then you water that, and that will make the best, healthiest crops ever. They said put it directly on there because it's a dry fertilizer, not a wet one, so it won't burn the seeds or the seedlings. So I found that fascinating, and I thought that would be really, really cool. Sylvia talking about the fact that steaks are not, oh my gosh, guys, I got a jar of pickles the other day. The pickles were almost all like the outside, the edge pieces. There was almost none of the ones that are in the middle, like the big, fat, thick pickles that are sliced to go on burgers. They were almost all the edges. I've never seen anything like it. It was all like the skins, and that was pretty much it. There was no flesh of the pickles. It was bizarre. Like everybody is having a hard time keeping up with production on everything. It's just terrible. Let me see. I was just going to say something or read something, and it jumped. Stop jumping. Okay, Amy, do you vacuum seal anything? Is a food saver worth it? I think it absolutely is. I'm actually planning on, we have a whole bunch of rice and beans, and I put them into big vittles that we got that hold like 80 pounds each. But I have some other bags that I'm probably going to use my vacuum sealer for those. I freeze the beans for like a week or two to make sure that there's no creepy crawlies, there's no bugs, there's no nothing in there. And then I will vacuum seal them and put an oxygen absorber in with it. And then those will be good for a really, really long time. We use the vacuum sealer for freeze-dried things as well, as long as they don't have any edges. Like anything that has sharp corners, the edges, when you vacuum seal it, because we have really thin bags, it'll puncture it. And it'll let air into it. So as long as it's completely rounded edges, nothing like peas or corn, something like that, then I will go ahead and I will vacuum seal it if it's been freeze-dried and it's been wonderful. The vacuum sealer, I think I kind of like better than the Mylar bags, especially if you put everything into boxes or bags or anything like that to keep them away from the light. The Mylar bags help to keep the light out, but the vacuum sealed bags, I like that they get rid of more oxygen. So it's kind of a, toss up, but yes, I think a vacuum sealer is absolutely worth it. It also keeps things from getting like freezer burned if you're doing it in the freezer, stuff like that. How often do I butcher? Whenever I need to. I try to do it like all at once and not dragging it out. As although when I was killing off the roosters, I would like kill a rooster and then wait a day and then kill a rooster and then wait a day and kill a rooster so that I didn't have to process them all right then. I could just kill them, cut them up, and then feed them to the dogs. So I was like, I don't want to thaw it and then have to or like freeze it and then thaw it. And so it's called coccidiosis. Chickens, rabbits, like there's all kinds of different animals that can get it, but it's with a C, coccidiosis. It's horrible. It's absolutely, it killed 18 of my ducks this year. 18 of my ducklings all died from coccidiosis. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. They start like falling asleep when they're standing up. They stop eating and drinking. They were bleeding from their eyes. They had this snot like dripping from their mouths. By the time you realize that they're sick. And with ducklings, you can't give them medicated feed because the medicated feed kills them. Chicks and chickens, you can give them medicated feed, but then it's medicated feed. And I don't want to give them medicated feed. So this year, my chickens have all had medicated feed because it was the only thing that stopped all of them from dying from the coccidiosis. I don't want to do that with my rabbits. I do not want to have to medicate my rabbits if we're going to be eating them. I would rather them have to live in a cage, stay up off the ground. I will give them toys. I will give them treats. I will give them the best life that I can. But these are still going to be in cages all the time because I can't deal with the coccidiosis again. It wiped out half of my flock this year. It wasn't even that avian flu that came through. It was just the coccidiosis, and it was terrible. So unfortunately, that's where we're at now. It's not cool. Do you think it's the heart now that you've said? Yeah, I'm sure it's the heart. Oh yeah, it's like huge. That it's probably about as big as my head. Like it was huge. So I collect all vegetables and fruits from lunchtime at our school. Our students are learning about composting. I'm now working on getting a pedestal composter for elementary school. That's so cool. Yeah, I thought about doing composting, and I'm sure I will eventually probably need to compost. But right now, I'm just like, feed it to the chickens, feed it to the dogs, feed it to everything else. And then my black soldier flies, they're going to end up getting all of the compost as well, because then they're going to make grubs, which are going to feed my chickens. So I'm trying to get this entire ecosystem going where we're self-sufficient. If I'm growing my own food in the garden, I'm probably going to grow corn and I'm going to grow wheat and I'm going to grow whatever else I need to be able to feed all of my animals. I don't want to eat the wheat or the corn at all, but I am going to grow that for the animals, because if I can stop buying as much animal food, then that would be fantastic. Hi, Annabella. We have so many rabbits. We found out the hard way that they can breathe through chicken wire. That is really funny. So our plan is to have the 3 does on one side and Dad's going to be on the other side. They will be away, but no, we're not going to do that. We bought, I think we have enough materials for 9 cages. I'm going to do 3 does and 1 buck of Rexes. And then I'm going to do 3 does and 1 buck of Californians or New Zealands. I'm not sure which one. And then we're going to have 2 grow out cages as well, so that we can, because the grow out cages, I only need them for like 12 to 14 weeks. And then everyone's going to die. So the grow out cages will be much bigger than the other ones. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making it up as I go along. That's what I'm doing. Heart meat is so good. Haven't had it in years. I've heard that. Some people are like, it is the best muscle because it's just a really, 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 really lean muscle. Like all the fat's on the outside and then it's super lean on the middle. Some people are like, it tastes like tenderloin. I just haven't bothered because my animals are eating it anyways. They're eating anyways. So that's what they end up getting. Let me see. Oh, I didn't know about the ground disease being so bad for meat rabbits. I have wild deer wandering around me. Thanks for that tidbit. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that, oh, look at my colony and it's wonderful. And as long as you take the wire down, like 18 inches and the rabbits won't dig under it and that's fine. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. Blaze says, please hit the like button, everybody. Thank you. Please and thank you. But yeah, so we debated back and forth, colony, not colony. Because I'm going to process every 12 to 14 weeks, I want everybody to just be contained. I know where they are. If there is a problem, I can see immediately. Whereas if you're in a colony, the babies are born underground. And if there's a problem, you don't know. And the babies can all die. You won't know that somebody got sick. You can't give them any medicine. Like you can't quarantine, nothing, because you can't get to the babies nearly as easily without like some pretty serious preparations and doing things. Nope. I wasn't going to do it. It's just not going to happen. Anyways, so that is I recently bought the wall pickles and they were amazing. We had so many rabbits, we found out the hard way. Oh yeah, breathe through the chicken wire. I use food saver jar attachment to vacuum seal dry goods into glass mason jars like nut flour, egg white powder, nuts. I use the bags for meat, but I also use the bags to cook meat in the sous vide. We did that too. We would sous vide everything in the vacuum sealer. And a lot of people freak out about the plastic, but the plastic, from what I can understand, does not begin to leach into your food until over 160 degrees. So don't go above 160 and you should be fine. Then everybody should be good. Okay. I should let you guys go. I need to go take care of all of my babies, my very sick babies. Oh, someone's coming in now. This is my big baby, the big sick baby.
Mine is a baby?
Yours is my baby. You were my first baby girl. That counts, right?
I certainly was. I'm your first and your second to last.
Yes, my first and second to last. Yes,
Last.
indeed. Last.
I'm a last.
You are my last. Okay. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna go check on my tiny humans, see how they're doing. Yeah. If you are in my Mighty Network, today is the free meeting. So even the free area, you get to come in to the Zoom call. I do it once a month where we have a free Zoom call. Everybody gets to come in. So if you're in the Mighty Network, hopefully I will get to see you. And we're going to be talking about when enough is enough. At what point in time do you call it quits with your current protocol if you are not getting results? And here is a spoiler alert. It is not after 3 days. You should try a little bit longer than that. Anyways, thanks guys for hanging out with me. I'm going to go do a whole lot of stuff. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I have so much stuff to do. Thank you, Barb. Tea and soup and all kinds of other things is currently being poured down their gullets. We're working on it. So love you guys. Have a fantastic day. And I will see you guys very soon. Yeah. Bye, guys.